Story 1. I got a new, bigger apartment, so that is good. I was hit with a tidal wave of existential dread, so that is bad. Story 2. I'm exhausted all the time. I have no idea how people could ever do this and be parents. Story 3. It is fine. I like sleeping in on weekends and going places with my wife. Story 4. Key takeaways from this thread. Life as a household with 2 incomes and no children is great. They travel a lot. 90% have cats. Story 5. Apart from the world outside, our lives are great. We are very happy and fulfilled. Thanks for asking. Story 6. They would answer you, but they are all getting ready to fly somewhere beautiful. Story 7. I give thanks every Saturday that I can sleep in. I honestly do not know how parents do it. We are basically not saving any money, and while we have some luxuries, I cannot fathom being able to afford children. I am very anxious about our lives as we get older. It seems we will rent and work for the rest of our lives. Story 8. Honestly, it is awesome. We have no kids and no pets, and we have pretty good paid time off, so we can go anywhere and do almost anything we want. We went on a 2-week last-minute trip to Mexico, and there was very little planning necessary. Took about an hour to book the flight and schedule paid time off, and that was it. We take short weekend trips on the fly, but most of all it is peaceful. If I want to sleep in on the weekends, I can. We leave hazardous materials out. I like to make things so I can leave paint thinner, tools, and other supplies out, and it is no big deal. We had mice a few winters ago, and we put out poison everywhere because there are no pets or kids to worry about. Life is just much easier. We can both change our work schedules on the fly if necessary for another job. Story 9. I feel less inclined to have children each year. We just returned from the Portola Music Festival and had a blast. It was great to have a few days to recover without childcare. Story 10. Pretty nice, man. Chilling with my dog. I just bought a pool. I am absolutely burned out on the question, what's for dinner? I can't imagine having kids and dealing with that nonstop every day. Story 11. We became the safe place for our family to land when problems arise. That is a good feeling after an unstable childhood. Veterinarian bills are expensive. Story 12. Still too expensive no matter how you slice it. It is the oligarchs versus the workers from any angle. Story 13. I always find people's reports on the dual income, no kids lifestyle a bit overblown. We don't have children, but we're not traveling or going out all the time. We still have adult responsibilities and are generally busy. My schedule is demanding, so socializing is often limited to close friends and family when the opportunity arises. I'm too old to drink much now because the hangovers outweigh the fun. So life is not a nonstop party. We do have more time and more peace than parents, but we haven't had a vacation for a while because of house expenses, and we still spend a lot of time on work and other adult tasks. We can't just drop everything and go because we need to schedule time off. Having pets also limits spontaneity and outings. On the positive side, we can travel abroad off-peak, which saves a lot of money. Basically, it's quite nice, but I think people exaggerate when telling parents how amazing it is. Story 14. My wife and I are both in technology and work at Microsoft. We have no children and only a cat. Our situation is solid. We have no debt, good cars, and a large house. We have no financial worries. Anytime we want to do something or buy something within reason, we can. We can experiment with hobbies without worry, even relatively expensive ones. We do not waste money, and we invest heavily. This is a massive change because we both grew up lower middle class. Story 15. It's great. My husband woke up and went to the driving range. I woke up and fed the cats, then went back to bed. Story 16. I see 3 or 4 examples every day that convince me we've made the right choice for ourselves. We have disposable income and a reliably stable, stress-free, quiet home life. I work with people who are living genuine nightmares with their children. I also work with people who love, cherish, and devote themselves to their children, and I'm happy for them. They made the right choice. I don't think being child-free is a better decision than having children, only that it's a better fit for us as a couple. I wouldn't change it for the world. Story 17. We have enough money that we do not have to panic if something breaks, and we can go on a cruise every year. We still have to work, but we can put some aside for retirement. We have a cat, so we have a dependent who costs us in veterinarian bills, pet sitter fees, and food. Story 18. There is a lot of bragging here, laughing out loud. I am double income, no kids, and I just turned 33. Things are fine and dandy, nothing too crazy. Story 19. Good. Aiming to become a dual income little dog owner soon. Story 20. Shitty. Just because we don't have kids doesn't mean we're rolling in time and money. Plus, we wanted kids. Nature deemed it not in our future. Story 21. I'm semi-retired and well invested. I'm going to Europe next week. I drink sparkling wine every weekend without worrying about my kids seeing me drunk. I walk naked to the kitchen to get a glass of water in the middle of the night. I should stop now. Story 22. We are an older double income, no children couple, past the age at which we could have children. Despite the sadness of fertility issues that led us here, we enjoy life without children. Watching friends with kids, we often hear them say they love their children but sometimes regret having them in certain ways. I appreciate the freedom they miss. We travel without worry and avoid the high costs of supporting additional people. However, I worry about getting older and having no one to care for me. I know that is not the only reason to have children, but it is one aspect that concerns me. Story 23. Double income, no kids with a veterinarian. My wife is one. This really hit the sweet spot. We have all the animals, and she treats them at work for $0. Story 24. Very good. We both work 4 days a week and earn the national average. We bought a house and can do whatever we want. It's awesome. Story 25. Does it count if we are only dual income with no children because even on our joint income we cannot afford them? Story 26. We both work jobs we dislike for money. Life is not bad, but it is not wonderful. Maybe it is the grief of adulthood or the fact that we are aggressively paying off debts. I could not imagine having children to care for after dealing with so many people at work. My social battery is depleted every day by my job. I would need to change careers to have anything left for a child. Story 27. Everything is good, except for the fear of being alone in my 80s and 90s. I say this because I very much hope to die at 90. Apart from that, things are fabulous. Story 28. It's great. No children, no pets. We both have 7 weeks of annual leave. In winter we take 2 or 3 golf vacations somewhere warm. In summer we travel within the country to play golf. Other than that, we spend time with our friends. We usually do not have to plan anything in advance and can just go with the flow if someone calls with a weekend idea. What would normally be the kids' room, if we had one, is the board game room. We have a board game evening every Wednesday with friends from childhood. We also manage to save for retirement. We are planning to retire before the official retirement age. In short, it is great. Story 29. I am not married, but will be soon. I am currently cleaning up my finances and saving for a house while the economy calms down. Honestly, I cannot imagine supporting a child in this economic turmoil. Story 30. Amazing. There will be no children who have to live in this hellish world. Our finances are secure now and for the future, and we can go anywhere, anytime we want. I can actually think about what I want to do with my time instead of how to keep children busy until they fall asleep. No complaints at all. Story 31. It is decent. I have a chronic illness that is very costly to treat, so I am not wealthy, but we are on track to own a condominium in the next few years and are planning a bigger trip for next year. I still feel very privileged and comfortable. I do not know how I would manage with a pet or a child, and likely a child with medical issues related to my genes, given my limitations. Story 32. I thank God for my blessings every night. We are going all out at the pumpkin patch this weekend. Last year we got 700 pounds of pumpkins. Last week we were in Hawaii. Story 33. Not married yet, but life is great. Neither of our incomes is very high yet because we are young, but we rent an apartment we like. We have adopted 2 wonderful cats we can spoil, and we aim for 1 big trip a year, either international or across the country. plus a weekend getaway camping or visiting another city every couple of months. We do not have a lot of money, but we live within our means. We do not have any large unavoidable expenses, and we are happy. Story 34. We are not married on paper, but have been together for 17 years and are going strong. We enjoy having money and free time. We would like to travel, but our country is making us spend our money on medical bills and causing people at home and abroad to resent us. I do not have children, and I am glad. I am sorry the world is the way it is. I am just trying to get by like everyone else. Story 35. We are 40 years old and both have good incomes. We paid off our house, bought all the toys, and did all the traveling, but realized we felt bored even with that. 5 years ago, we started trying for children and could not conceive. Now we are expecting our first child with a donor egg. We both wish we had done it differently. Story 36. I honestly thought it would be easier. Life is still very expensive. Story 37. I have traveled more with my husband than I ever did before. We even have return trips planned to places I always dreamed of seeing. We eat out at nice restaurants on weekends, buy relatively nice things for ourselves without second-guessing, save for big home renovations without stress, and saving for retirement is comfortably in our budget. The biggest thing, aside from financial freedom, is time. We nap when we want and sleep in when we feel like it. We go on long walks every afternoon. I go to the gym without having to arrange a specific time, and my husband enjoys gardening for hours. We watch whatever television or movies we feel like watching. It is a really nice, quiet life. We definitely talk about starting a family one day, but enjoying this phase of our marriage has always been a priority. I think too many people miss how special this time is. Just you and your partner enjoying each other and growing together. Story 38. More like double income, no kids because we cannot afford children. Story 39. It is too expensive even without children. Having the freedom to do anything at any time is great, though. Story 40. Sorry, I cannot hear you over the waves crashing on the beach during our trip to Fiji. Story 41. Honestly, it's great. We have been to over 50 countries together, we never argue, we eat out often, and we have the cutest cat ever. Story 42. I am on track to retire at 55 as a software developer even though my wife is on disability. If she earned more, I would probably be retired by 50. I am not big on traveling, so most of my income goes to essentials such as groceries, the mortgage, and other usual bills, and I save the rest for retirement. I cannot imagine being able to retire before 65 if I had children. Story 43. We still cannot afford to buy a property, but we feel less bad about it than if we had children. Story 44. My life feels empty. I sleep in on weekends and get out of bed with nothing to do. I sit in my quiet home and think about which hobby I want to pursue to fill my free time. Maybe I should book a flight. I have always wanted to go to Chile. It is amazing. Story 45. It's still so expensive. I don't know how parents do it, but otherwise it's so good. I love my free and quiet time. Story 46. It is great. But we also live in the insanely expensive San Francisco Bay Area. Even with our combined incomes and no children, we are still budgeting, tracking our spending, and are stressed about money a lot of the time. I do not know how families with children make it work. Story 47. I own my business, so that is going well. However, my wife recently lost her job and, with it, our health insurance. That is unfortunate. I am keeping us afloat while she searches for a new job. Story 48. It is good from a responsibility perspective, but grocery prices are out of control. I shop at the same stores. They have digital receipts in my accounts. Some of the price increases are absolutely insane. Items I was paying $2 or $3 for last year are up 50 to 200%. Beef is probably the worst. Even sale chuck steak is expensive. I have learned the quick sale markdown patterns at local stores to save as much as I can, and then vacuum seal and freeze what I am not using that day. My healthcare is going up $1,400 next year. Gas prices fluctuate but remain high. I do not know how anyone with children is surviving. Story 49. We have been married for 21 years and have 3 children living with us. One is 20 and the other 2 are 17-year-old twins. We love our children. But we are close to becoming a dual income, no children couple, and I'm excited about that. I know most parents dread becoming empty nesters, but not us. I'm looking forward to finally being able to spend my hard-earned money on my wife and me rather than on the kids' sports, school events, clothes, cars, car insurance, medical expenses, and cell phones. It may make me sound like a bad person, but I'm ready to have free, fun money. It's like I'm in the parenting phase of senioritis. Haha. Story 50. We are double income, no kids with two very spoiled dogs. My significant other and I are preparing to move abroad for a multi-year sabbatical and possible early retirement in our mid-30s. This would not have been possible with children. Story 51. Super good. I married an amazing man. We have 4 cars, a 2,400 square foot house, and a beautiful dog. We both have great jobs, and we travel at least twice a year. On weekends, we drive our sports cars in the mountains together. We eat whatever we want and we go out for drinks, meals, and movies. We enjoy our freedom. I hope everyone is as happy as I am. We all deserve happiness. Story 52. These threads always overrepresent happy couples with 2 incomes and no children. Couples who do not have high incomes, or who genuinely wanted children but could not have them, do not appear in the comments as often. Story 53. We are dual income, no kids. We just bought a 4-bedroom house and are going on safari next week. No regrets. Story 54. Retired at 53. We travel when and where we want. We realize costs are getting much higher, but it does not affect us. I still think it is tragic that people who actually need help keep voting for Republicans who will cut the safety net at every chance. Story 55. Dual income, no children here. I just got back from Iceland and am planning a trip to Japan this winter, as well as a few snowboarding trips, Coachella, and Mexico. We usually take a vacation every month. We eat incredible food, attend fundraising events, have fulfilling hobbies, are in great shape, and have an amazing social life. We serve on several boards and have fulfilling careers in engineering, media, healthcare, and fitness. I have no idea where children would fit into this. Story 56. My wife and I are ages 51 and 54. We retired early 5 years ago. We traded money for time and do not regret it. We both walked away from well-paying jobs and now live more simply. Story 57. Enjoying time with our dog and wondering how the hell our coworkers raise kids on the same shitty salaries we have. Story 58. I don't regret my decision not to have children for a minute. I am grateful every day. Story 59. It's fine, but I do not think it is much different if you are middle class. We have 2 needy and affectionate cats and 2 full-time jobs. So we cannot just whisk ourselves away whenever we please. Our jobs mean we rarely sleep in, and weekends are pretty boring. Middle-class life does not come with endless disposable income, so our weekends are mostly watching shows or grocery shopping. Just because we do not have children does not mean we have no obligations. I have to pet sit overnight for 3 days for my out-of-state parents because I am the daughter who does not have children. People expect childless adults to go out of their way to accommodate others who have children, which is annoying. I have wanted to host Christmas for years, but people say it is easier for my sister because she would not have to bring her children. So the grass is not always greener, laughing out loud. Story 60. Incredible loads of disposable cash, a tidy house, quiet luxury holidays, and very few cares. I highly recommend it. Story 61. Finally at the point where I am able to put $500 to $700 a week into savings while not cutting back on enjoying life. Finding more clever ways to respond to must be nice. But honestly, the only answer I have is, it is nice. I am going to die in the arms of a caretaker who only sees me as a number. But until then, I am going to live life to the fullest. Story 62. It is amazing and I would never change. No money concerns. Flexible schedules. We can pick up and go. Uninterrupted sleep. Dinners out without stares at misbehaving children. Nice, not childproof items in our home. We occasionally babysit for our friends and colleagues who have children. After 5 to 6 hours, I am completely spent. Hats off to full-time parents. Honestly, your job is so hard. Story 63. In our mid-30s, each earning more than $250,000, partnered but not married, and it is awesome. We travel, dine out, sleep in, and have time together whenever we feel like it. Just in 2025 we have skied the Alps, island hopped in Thailand, ripped all-terrain vehicles through the Moroccan desert, hopped down to Puerto Rico for a long weekend on a whim, did a multi-country trip to Greece, Italy, and France in August. Being a dual income, no children couple means we spoil our nieces and nephews rotten, then hand them back and go home to our dog. A typical conversation about plans goes like this. Hey, you were off next Monday, right? Yes. I was thinking about taking it. Cool. Let us use that flight credit and hit the Caribbean for a few nights. Got it. A few days later, we are in the Bahamas, making love to the sound of the waves and buying cute souvenirs for the nieces and nephews. I never want to give this life up. Story 64. I own a homestead, play in a band, and just returned from a life-changing trip to Italy. Life is sweet. Story 65. Wonderful. We get to hang out with our 13-year-old nephew, who lives 2 doors away in our apartment building, and play Zelda with him. Although I love him dearly, I am also very glad we can send him home at the end of the day. Best of both worlds, in my humble opinion. Story 66. We travel a lot because we value exploration, and we love our house. Story 67. Currently sitting in a 5-star hotel in Greece, without a worry in the world, sipping a cocktail while planning a trip to Prague to see in the new year. Life is good. Story 68. Life was good, and we were very excited to be transitioning from double income, no kids to parents. We were double income, no kids for 10 years, and to be honest, it felt kind of empty. This could be because I always wanted children, but even my husband, who had been unsure about having kids, felt the same way. We have decent savings and no debt, which is great, and that will not change. The biggest benefit of being double income, no kids, was greater flexibility when it came to taking risks. First, I started a business. Second, my husband now works for my business instead of for a stranger. Story 69. We will tell you when we get back from the French Riviera. Story 70. I was part of a dual income, no kids household for a long time and recently lost that status after we had a baby and dropped to 1 income. Life is certainly different now. My husband used to travel a lot for work, and I would, on a whim, join him for only the cost of my flight, which we could easily afford. Now I do not know the next time we will travel since we have a 7-month-old and far less money. I miss being well rested, doing activities that did not have to be baby-friendly, not planning my day around naps, having lots of disposable income, being spontaneous, and doing nothing when I felt like it. Do not get me wrong. I do not regret having a baby, but I do miss our old life. Story 71. Getting married in a couple of weeks, and we've been together for more than 6 years. Our personal life, despite the state of the world, is pretty great. I can confidently say that I am living a life my younger self would have considered a wild, far-fetched dream. Anyway, that's all I can type because my cat, head of the household, decided she wants snuggles. Story 72. Almost all studies show they are the happiest people on earth. Story 73. Comfortable. It's hard to relate to the stress many people around me face from having children and the financial planning involved, or the lack of planning options. In some ways, it's made finding friendships for my wife and me a lot more difficult. We are the black sheep where I live. We do and spend what we want. We could lose half our combined income and our life would stay the same. Half-baked financial goals and no kids feel kind of like a cheat code. Story 74. Life is pretty great. We travel 2 to 3 times a year. The cars are paid off and the house is almost paid off. We save most of our extra cash for investments in hopes of retiring early. We have no children and no drama. The freedom is invaluable. Story 75. Fine, except for the tens of thousands we are spending on in vitro fertilization to try to have children. Story 76. Married for 5 years with a child on the way. Most of the advantages you hear about I did not personally take advantage of. Money. I was not rich then and I am not now. Sleep. Yes, but I still felt like a horrible person for wasting my day. Travel, we could afford one big vacation per year and other small trips with our dog, so I am sure it would have been possible with a child as well. I suppose we will find out. Overall, I feel the whole double income, no kids, child-free hype is overblown for the most part. If you looked at all the people in real life singing its praises, I guarantee it is not as picturesque as they present it. Story 77. Pretty good. With all the savings and investments compounding, we are about to achieve financial independence and retire early before age 45. We have traveled internationally multiple times a year since we started dating and continue to do so as a married couple. We stay active and do not have to budget for miscellaneous expenses. I hear enough about the hardships of raising children from others. For reference, we are not in the technology industry, and our combined pre-tax salary is about $200,000 per year. We do not care whether you envy us, nor do we care whether raising children is the best feeling in the world that we are missing. Story 78. My wife and I were a dual income, no children couple from age 25 to 31. We traveled a lot, taking 2 to 4 international vacations per year, bought a house and drove nice cars. We had our first child in February, and we love him so much. We are fortunate to live a wonderful life, and as happy as I was to share it with my soulmate, I am now twice as happy to share it with both of them. Story 79. Having no children has allowed us to build up my spouse's business and create a second income. We are still working on it, and it improves every month. We still feel financial strain from political events, though that is not the main topic. I would not trade the freedom of living child-free for the opposite. We are dog people. Dogs require far less work while giving the fulfillment and companionship we want. For those who do not see it the same way, that is fine. I have nothing against people who want children. Story 80. Great. My car has a $2,500 repair bill, and there's no chance I'd be able to pay it all at once if I had kids. Story 81. I wouldn't change a thing about my life. I have an amazing wife, a great dog, and our own house. We both work remotely and can do whatever we want. We have close family nearby, so we spend a lot of time with nieces and nephews and hang out with friends and their children. Then we go home to our quiet house to smoke weed and make love. If the world around me wasn't crumbling, I'd say it's perfect. Story 82. We are both retired. We run almost every day, teach as volunteers, and trade options in the stock market. We take several trips a year to Hawaii and Europe, and we visit family over the holidays. We do not have any pets because we travel frequently. We have his and hers gardens that keep us busy and happy, and we love eating produce from the garden. We can afford reasonable purchases, so we have upgraded sheets and clothing. We live in a high cost of living area, and we would like to remodel the kitchen, but we do not want to spend $100,000 to do it. Story 83. Today I learned where the Dinkelbergs from the Fairly OddParents got their name. Story 84. Some friends are hosting an after-party for more than 300 people following a race and bars close tonight, so I am helping prepare. The last one went until noon the next day. I thought I would grow out of partying, but there is surprisingly an older crowd at these events. Story 85. Great. We just moved to the city to be closer to friends and to be near everything we like to do, so the quality of life has improved even more. We can spend our money on things we want or, right now, need, such as a new roof and furnace. We can sleep in and go on trips whenever we want. And if I have a bad day, I can melt on my couch and watch The Real Housewives without interacting with anyone. Story 86. Fantastic. The last checklist item was paying off my mortgage and living debt-free before 60. Financial freedom is priceless. Story 87. Great, except that I'm getting laid off at the end of the year. Not having children and being a dual income, no kids couple is making it much less stressful than it otherwise would have been. Story 88. It is amazing. Every weekend we do whatever we want. We treat ourselves often and have plenty of time for our own interests. Life is good. Story 89. Yes. The veterinarian bills have increased. Plane tickets have gone up as well. Story 90. Very good. Travel to 2 countries per year, own a comfortable house, and have nice cars. Story 91. Great. I did pretty well at trivia last night. I am going to New York City in a few weeks to see one of my husband's favorite bands. In February, we will go to Las Vegas so I can see my childhood crushes, the Backstreet Boys. We kiss our dog all the time because he is our world. Life is all right. Story 92. There is no guarantee your children will look after you in old age anyway. I am perfectly content with my dual income, no children lifestyle. Story 93. It's nice. A lot more freedom to make short-notice decisions or pivot when things don't go as planned. We can still spoil our nieces and nephews if we choose. Travel and pets take priority. Story 94. Pretty fucking good. We're able to support our hobbies, help our parents travel, further our careers, decorate the house, spoil the dog, and, for now, not worry about money. We do not have enough saved for retirement, and we still have some unsecured debt, but everything is trending in the right direction. Other than the country falling apart around us, that's about it. Story 95. Sweet. Our biggest problem is we're stressed by how much we've been traveling and that we never have a weekend to ourselves to relax at home. Story 96. Wrapping up a 16-day holiday in France, Germany, and Austria on Tuesday. Heading back to the United States. This Christmas, we are going to Belize. Last year, we spent 2.5 weeks in New Zealand. Story 97. We are very involved in a church plant and loving our lives despite not being a couple with 2 incomes and no children by choice. We just celebrated 10 years. Story 98. Dual income. No kids? You mean like the family from the animated cartoon Doug? Story 99. We are actually triple income, no children, but we do not go out or travel often. We recently took a week-long vacation after 2 years without traveling. That said, both of our cars are paid off and we are halfway to paying off the house. Bills sometimes pile up, but we rarely feel stressed about money. We buy what we want when we want, which is great. Most of our free time is spent together. We play games, watch television, or simply lie in bed after a long day. We also visit our families often, usually on weekends. Sunday is mostly for staying home and preparing for the week. Having grown up in a rather poor family makes me appreciate what I have, but we do sometimes splurge and be spontaneous. Just the other day, we bought tickets to a play without even checking the price. Overall, life is pretty great. While we both want children, we are in no rush, and if we end up not having any, I think life will be fine. Story 100. It sucks that we hate each other. I think that is something between us, though. Story 101. Gesturing to everything. Not good, my dude. But I am really glad I do not have kids because it could be way worse. Story 102. Life is pretty good for us. Our Labrador, on the other hand, has a fantastic life. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.